Morning, everyone. Chaplain Keith here with Good Heart Church. Want to welcome everyone in and want to thank the helpers we have. I will say, of course, I didn't even tell them this ahead of time, but my volunteers here, I want to thank them for being here. The videographer, which is my wife Mary, and technical support, my brother Paul. I might have to have some help up in the front here today if I need to erase anything on the board. We'll see, but we'll go over that in a little bit. Um, Today we're talking about changes. You'll understand more right now. You probably can't see everything that's going on with me, but you will here shortly. Um, and there's some major changes happening in my life, and we're going to compare that to maybe changes that will happen in your life and what goes on in the universe around all this. So before we get into the actual message of the day, let's welcome in any light spirits and anybody who wants to be here and on and off the camera. Hopefully they'll have light spirits come in to those who are watching this from home as well. Let's take a moment and speak to our deity and get into a relaxation process where we can relax to accept whatever it is we are to bring in today for each and every person who watches this and see how things go. I'll probably be sitting down most of the day. I'm in a lot of pain, so we'll see how it goes. So go ahead and pray to your deity. As we move on from our prayer, go ahead and start to relax. Keep your posture as straight as possible. Relax your scalp, your temples. Relax your forehead and take that crease out from in between your eyes. Relax your eyes, your eyelids. Relax your cheekbone and your jaw. Drop that tongue down to the bottom of your mouth as you relax your mouth. Relaxing your ears and neck. Let's drop your shoulders away from your ears and relax them as well. Just relax your upper arms, your elbows, your lower arms, wrists, hands, and fingers. Relax your chest and your upper back, your belly, and your lower back. As you sink down into whatever it is you're sitting in, go ahead and relax your hips and your buttocks, your upper legs, your knees, your lower legs, ankles, feet, and toes. With each breath out, you can continue to relax, as I probably speak faster than you can relax each part of your body. Relax into accepting what it is that you need to bring in today as part of the message. Bring in what you need and without without forgetting the rest of it, just put it aside for the moment and relax into whatever it is that you seem to be needing to relax into. You come out of your relaxation back into the room that you are in, into the back into the earthly sort of situation. Ask your higher power, your deity, to help you accept what it is you need to see and hear today, and give yourself to your deity. Let's not forget that you are part of your deity as your spirit is part of deity. Connect your spirit to that. Give yourself whatever it is that is out there. Okay. Well, let's start at the beginning. I thought I was going to have a simple week this week. I was going in, I was pretty excited. I've had some problems with my dentures, and I was pretty excited about the fact that I was going in and going to get them fixed. So I went in and they had to pull a couple chips that had been in for many years. They should have been taken out when they pulled my teeth. And then they took my dentures to redo them, and I thought that was the end of my week. I thought I'd be 2 or 3 days and I'd have teeth in to talk to you folks today. And lo and behold, they needed them for 10 days for doing a major overhaul on them. Well, that doesn't sound real bad, but I wasn't looking forward to being toothless for that many days. So that changed my diet. Talking about changing things, that changed my diet. Not necessarily for good or bad, just changed the type of things I could eat. Well, that's not too bad. 2 days later, I was working, and if you guys ever watch The Good Adventure 25 on YouTube, you'll see our personal lives that we do on our land. And we we were getting ready to button up some stuff for the winter, and I had to trim a board. And instead of trimming the board, I trimmed my hand. Well, I'm not trying to give you all my personal information here just because I want to, like, because of none of you know of it. But Tuesday of this week, on the 11th month, on the 11th day, which is significant for later on in this process, I will have one of my fingers amputated. And that will change my entire life. That will change my entire physical life. And when I say, is your life changing? Says my life is changing. Is yours? It doesn't have to be as dramatic as what I'm saying. I'm saying your life can change by spiritual awakening. Your life can change by aha moments. It can change by having a physical injury like mine. It can change in many different ways. Well, 11/11 is coming up in a few days, couple days. It can change in many different ways. Well, 11/11 is coming up in a few days, couple days, and 11/11 is, well, let me just read you one of the excerpts that I have on my phone because it's pretty interesting. 11/11 appears when entering a new phase of consciousness. It is a signal to expand your perception and connect with your true purpose. Well, what does that mean when I'm getting my procedure done on 11/11? I'm not sure. I'm waiting to find out. I'm actually excited to find out. Is it going to change my attitude toward my purpose and give me a higher a higher motivation for my purpose? I believe what I'm doing right here is my purpose. Um, it just seems, actually, I didn't realize that my wife is the one that told me it was being done on 11/11, and so we had to look up the meaning of that in numerology. And that's just one little excerpt of several things that we've looked up. Um, and I think that that's where it's heading for me. It's heading for a new awakening, a new consciousness, a new portal into the spiritual realm. And I think that that's, we have, well, let me finish my other sentence. I think that that's significant because, um, as we've talked about before, we've had this love energies coming through that are here to stay, by the way, and are here. I was just talking to a lady yesterday who said she actually felt the energies when they came into the Earth's aura, which was pretty interesting because I didn't feel them right away. She felt it the moment it happened, and they are here. And they're here to change all our consciousness. They're here to help us expand. They're here to help us decide what side of the fence we're on, whether we're on a religious side or a spiritual side of the fence. They're here for us to qualify what we're doing in this life and to have the collective consciousness become more aware in a loving manner. There's a lot of things going on with that. I haven't prepared to talk about that. Maybe we'll do that in a week or two. But um, that was not in the cards for today because of all the changes that happened to me this week. Um, but I did go to Holistic Fair yesterday, and that helped out considerably. We've been doing a lot of things for my issues. We've had Reiki. I've had Reiki channeled to me. I've done self Reiki. I had other energy work done yesterday at the Holistic Fair. Just the energies of the Holistic Fair makes a huge difference. And so you might sit there and say, well, you're going to be maimed for the rest of your life. Only my physical, not my spiritual. There are are people out there in the universe that are called watchers. And the watchers are an extension, to make it simple, they're an extension of your guardian angels. What do I mean by that? They help the people on the earth to not get into significant troubles. So then then the question is, why did they let me do this? Well, they're not that specific. They probably told me because before I did the job that cut my hand, before I did that, I had said to my wife, I really don't feel like doing this today, but I'm going to do it anyway. It needs done. That might have been the watchers giving me through intuitive reasoning that I should have been taking the day off. But I didn't listen to it because my earthly person said, no, I've got to get this done. So it was my mistake, not theirs. They may have, I don't know any of this because I'm not in their heads. I'm not in their realm even. I'm not even in their dimension. But they may have kept me from cutting my entire hand off and only let me cut my fingers off as a wake-up call. We have to understand that our physical is our physical, and our spirit is our spirit. When you mix the spirit and the physical together, that's where the soul comes in. So, but if your brain is talking instead of your heart, which quite often happens, especially even with me, I'm no better or different than the other person. I want to do third dimensional things. I wanted my shed finished up and buttoned up for the winter. So I was going to do it no matter what. So the watchers may have already told me not to do it that day. Didn't tell me not to do it at all. Just said that day. I don't remember why. I was tired or whatever. Um, so many things have happened since then. I've spent all week going to doctors and hand specialists and different things to figure out what's going on. What our options were and so forth. But the point that I'm making is that I could have put it off a day, maybe in bed in better shape, or maybe just later that day. The watchers were watching. However, let's put that in perspective because eventually those watchers are not going to be watching as intensely as they have in the past, and we're going to have more problems. And I don't know how this is all going to work. Um, they may they may watch over more higher vibrational people than they do the lower vibrational people. They may be vice versa, figuring that the higher vibrational people are aware of things and can watch things better than themselves and only watch over the low. I don't know how this is all going to work. I just know that we're being told that the watchers are going to sort of leave us. Now, why are the watchers here to begin with? Is they're helping to protect our Earth, Gaia, from other intrusive dark forces. So that's one of the things that they're doing. They're keeping out some of the dark forces that are more powerful than we're even aware of. However, let's not get this confused. The universe is no different than the Earth. About 5% of the star peoples, as I call them, are dark. No, not much different than the amount of people we have in the prisons and that are dark on the earth. And the rest of them are benevolent or versus malevolent. The malevolent ones are the dark ones. The benevolent ones are the light ones. So we don't have to be afraid of them. There are much more light in this universe than there is darkness. I was thinking about that this morning, and I was thinking, last week we talked about that star that was closest star that was over 4 light years away. So what about those stars that are 100 light years away or even further, but yet still shine through the darkness that we can see at night? That's pretty, I don't even know what you want to say. That's pretty phenomenal that light goes through the darkness that much. And we might only see a little tiny star as we're looking at it, but that sort of comes through. The light comes through, always shines through the darkness if we allow it to. The light inside of us can therefore shine through our darkness if we let it. Most of the darkness that is in this world is of that of our own creation, of our own being. It's like the yin yang. We have half of it dark, half of it light, with a dot of each color of each one in the other. We Most of our problems of darkness are within us, and because we are balanced, well, maybe not balanced, but we should be balanced and have the equal amounts. And so, as we look at the universe and we say, well, some people are out there saying, well, there's no such thing as star people. Well, the common word for them is aliens. I don't like that word because that puts them separate from us, but they're people. They're just of the stars. They're not even necessarily of the stars. That's just my way of explaining them and differentiating them a little bit. It's hard for me. First of all, I know they're there. There's no doubt in my mind because I feel them in here. I feel them in my heart that they're there. So I know they're there. But it makes no sense if you want to bring it to the brain. It makes no sense that a universe as big as we have, bigger than we can imagine. We can't even get out of our own galaxy, probably, but yet there's nobody else but us. Okay. What about the angels and the cherubs and the archangels? Aren't they beings too? Doesn't matter what dimension they're in. Doesn't matter what their um, physical or non-physical looks like or doesn't look like. They're still beings. Wouldn't you think that there would be other star people out there that have physical form? But have physical form, why can't we see them? Well, most of them are in a higher dimension than us. Are they malevolent? Or do they really want to attack this country, this world? Well, let me tell you, if they wanted to, they'd have already done it. But they have the capabilities of a lot more than we are. Most of them are thousands of years more advanced than we are. So, not trying to get into the star people so much today. We can get into that a little bit more later on. The point that I'm making is that the watchers that we have around the Earth, and maybe even throughout the galaxy, are there for a reason. And they may have contacted you through your intuition, your spirit to their spirit, um, and helping to guide you to not do the stupid things that I'm doing. You know, um, I'm being laughed at by the peanut gallery here. I know it was my fault, but my life is changing, and that's what this whole thing is about: is life changing. How does it change? Why does it change? Well, I believe, I have faith that spirit will take what I did to my physical and give me the changes that I need to overcome whatever it is and be better than I was to begin with. I now have the experience with my hand bandaged up of what it's like for some of these other people that we call handicapped that really aren't in some people's mind, in their minds, and some of their minds are not handicapped. They just can do the same thing we can. They just do it in a different way. I'm now becoming aware of what it's like to work with one hand. Now I do have the availability of two fingers here, but that's not very very working very well because I have the rest of them taped up and I can't bend them. They're in a splint. You can't see the splint, but there's a big splint there. It keeps everything from moving. But I'm going to be taught how to make the best of this. We've been making a lot of jokes about it. We have not been down and out about it. It wears me out. I sleep constantly right now, and I need that. All my physical energies are going into healing my physical body. So I need that rest. I'm in no pain, and I'm on no narcotics. I was at the beginning, but it only took about 24 hours, and I haven't been on a pill for pain for this since then, since Thursday. So, and what I'm getting at is that I'm not telling you this stuff being loopy on a narcotic. I'm just loopy all the time, my wife says. So when we have changes come in our life, whether they are spiritual changes, whether they are physical changes, we want to look at them and say, what can I learn from this? Well, I already know that I shouldn't put my hand where it was, and I knew that before I did it. That's not what I learned from this. What I did learn, what I did learn was that we're on 40 acres of land, and nobody will run a power tool on that land again without having a second person around because it's too dangerous. If my wife and my brother had not been there, I would have been in deep trouble trying to get to the hospital. And I only live 8 miles away from the hospital, but I went into shock and there was no way I could have driven. We have learned some of the things that we have to do to help to protect ourselves, to help to become more viable in what we do and help to run safety in a little different way. Um, I have I have cut so much wood in my life. Why I put my hand where I did, and I didn't even realize it was there, very honestly, until I hit it with the saw. But we have learned from it, and we're also learning other things. We're going to learn what my limitations are for the next few weeks. We're going to learn what my limitations or my expansion of abilities is going to be when this is all over with. Now, I expect this to be not be able to be completely taken care of until the first of the year. Yeah, we're having the amputation here soon, but by the time everything heals up, I'm guessing it's going to be the first of the year before I'm going to be able to get back to my normal stuff that I want to do. Um, and if you're, like I said, if you want to see what we do on that land, we'll put a link in the bottom in the description of the Good Adventure 25. It's at good. It's that's the handle for YouTube, and you can see all the things that we've done. Now, because we had these issues this week, we didn't get one out yet this week, but we're going to have one out in the next day or two. We've been too busy. The closest place that will deal with things is almost 2 hours away. That's going to do the work on my hand, and I'll have my teeth back by next week. They should be in Wednesday. So things are changing, and we got to figure out how to make the best of them and how we can better ourselves with them. There are all kinds of different kind of changes out there. It doesn't have to be a physical change. It can, like I've said earlier, it can be spiritual, or it can even be an emotional change. It can be all kinds of different changes. See what's changing in you right now. See how you make the better of things instead of making and sitting and saying, well, I can't do this now. Well, this is going to be done. This is going to go this way. No, look and see what you can do to make your life better. Use it as a tool to create something new, to turn that into an 11-11 situation, to make things so that you are opening yourselves up to the spiritual side and keeping in touch with the physical side, because it works together. We're in this incarnation to be physical for a reason. I'd never cut my fingers off if I was in the spiritual realm, because I wouldn't have anything to worry about. So we can be in the spiritual. When we're in the spiritual realm, we don't have these problems. We can't experience this, but I can experience it in the physical. I can experience having a bad hip, having fingers um, mutilated, having a thumb that I cut off 50 years ago, taking care, work with that. There are things that we can't experience any other way than in this physical. Uh, sometimes I believe, well, I shouldn't say sometimes, I do believe that that's one of the reasons why we come to the physical, is to experience these things. Does that mean we're predestined to cut our fingers off? No. But it does mean that we are predestined to be able to make decisions on how we do things. It is, we are predestined to try and grow. And we are given the free will to make those decisions. And we make mistakes and we learn from them, because there is no such thing as a mistake. Everything is just a learning experience. I heard a lady, I didn't talk to her, but I heard a lady at the holistic fair yesterday saying, well, we smudge to get rid of the negative energies and bring in a positive energy. Well, that may be her. I'm not saying that that's wrong. I don't like that verbiage. I say we smudge to get rid of the unneeded energies and keep the needed energies, because we don't know what we need, but spirit does, your deity does. Spirit and deity are combined. They know what you need. You may think in the physical, in the brain, that you don't have this, that you don't want this, that this is a negative aspect of you. And they're saying you need it because you need to learn from it. So it's still needed. You can get rid of the unneeded. But we put these things on and say we don't like them, so they got to be negative. They're probably still needed if they haven't left you. You need to look at them and say, what am I supposed to learn from this? How am I supposed to deal with this? What am I supposed to do? I was talking at a different gathering a couple of days ago, and I said, maybe one of my lessons from this injury is to be able to learn how to let other people help me. When I first got injured, I couldn't even buckle my shoes. I couldn't put my shirt on. I can't. The only reason this shirt isn't buttoned is because the bandage is too big. But I can't button my cuffs. I can't put my socks on all the time. I have to depend on other people to help me do things. And maybe that's one of the things that this is trying to teach me, is to let other people in a different way. Maybe it's trying to teach me any number of things that I'm unaware of yet, because I'm still in the trauma of the actual experience. So I don't expect that I will know every lesson from this in a matter of a few days. It's going to take time. It's going to take time, because once I once I once I become unbandaged and see what my new capabilities are, then I will know more and be able maybe see a few more lessons. I don't know. I'm only bringing this out so that you folks can look at your lives, and I can't even put my hand up right. I want you people to look at your lives and say, what am I looking at in the wrong way? What am I looking at that I'm looking at as a detriment that I can look at differently and say, no, I can learn some from this and I can better myself from this, whether it be physical or spiritual or both. You know, there's so much goes on in these incarnations, that we should look at everything in a little different way. And I think that's one of the things that I'm learning from this is to start looking at a lot of different things in a lot of different ways. 50 years ago, when I cut my thumb off back in, well, it's probably been, I don't know whether it's been 50 years, in 1978, I think. I was 18 years old at any rate. I didn't think of this kind of stuff. I didn't think of any of this kind of stuff. I was all upset and beside myself because that was the year that I was going into the next fall. I was going to college and I was supposed to work all summer long trying to make a little bit of money to have in savings to go to college. Now I can't work at all. So I couldn't make that. That's all that went through my mind. It was all down downers instead of uppers. It was all looking at things in the wrong way, not seeing what good could come out of it. So I had to cut another finger to find out. But my point is, you know, let's look at the good sides of things instead of the bad sides of things. Let's see what we can do with it. Let's see what we can learn and transform ourselves into a better person no matter what happens to us, and look at the bright side of things. Be the optimist instead of the pessimist. See where your higher power is taking you, where your spirit is guiding you, where your lessons are to be learned. So I hope you enjoyed this. I don't know if you did or not. I got a few laughs out of the peanut gallery, but so I hope you learned a little bit from this, and I hope this helped you a little bit. I'm not trying to tell everybody go out and injure themselves to get these experiences. I'm just saying do what you do have and learn from it and get the experience that you should have. So, do we have any questions or comments on there, Paul? Do we have anybody watching even? Well,
I had a couple of questions, but you already answered that.
well, there you go. There you go. Okay, well, as always, we'll see you next week. And in the meantime, be spiritual in everything you do. Right.